My name is Michael Carter, aka S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent Red Right 88. Last year, S.H.I.E.L.D. Director Phil Coulson assigned me to disseminate recently discovered files detailing the early exploits of my great aunt, S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent Peggy Carter. I thought my mission was over. However, a new series of documents covering Agent Carter's exploits in California was recently discovered. This is Season 2 of the Whimsical Adventures of Great Aunt Peggy. Look, guys, we're going to be doing like the equivalent of 5 episodes in a 3-week span. I really didn't have any time for a comedy bit this week. There's some footage of the cat. Wilkes managed to reappear after another fit of vanishing. He was beginning to feel that it was too difficult to remain seen. Peggy suggested that they could try using more zero matter, and that would allow Wilkes to build a containment unit. The next day, the still recovering Agent Carter met up with Sousa, where she outlined a plan to procure some zero matter from Agnes Cully's blood. Sousa pointed out that Peggy was too recognizable, and so Peggy had to suggest a replacement. Dottie Underwood. You remember, this girl. Agent Carter visited Dottie in prison and questioned her about the Arena Club pin that she tried to steal from the New York bank. Dottie said someone hired her to steal the pin. Dottie agreed to help Peggy, who left the Russian with a means to escape. Dottie tried one last time to run, but Sousa stopped her with an electrified net. Agent Carter fitted Dottie with a choker that was fitted with a tracking device and a neurotoxin should she try another escape. Peggy and Jarvis then went over the final plan to go after Agnes Cully. Jarvis and Dottie then went to a campaign fundraiser for Calvin Chadwick. There, they spotted SSR agent Chief Johnson schmoozing with the Chadwicks. Dottie then managed to slip away from Jarvis. Jarvis set about trying to distract Agent Thompson while Dottie made her way upstairs after Agnes Cully. Dottie bumped into Agnes as the leading lady exited the restroom. This allowed Dottie to stick Agnes with a pin and draw some of the blood. Dottie tried one more time to give the SSR the slip, only to wind up being cornered in a room with the Council of Nine. In the meeting, Agnes Cully demonstrated the power of zero matter as she absorbed a lab rat. Impressed, the Council of Nine moved to take Agnes away. Turned out to be a trap set up by Calvin Chadwick. However, Agnes broke free and began absorbing most of the Council of Nine, including her husband. And with that, Agnes Cully took over the control of the Council of Nine and began to implement her plan of taking over the world. Of course! Jarvis tried to track down Dottie and elude Agent Thompson at the same time, but he was having difficulties with both. Peggy tried to get up, only to pop some of her stitches. Meanwhile, Dottie was located by Agent Masters. Dottie fought off a few of the agents, only to be caught by Thompson, though she did drop the sample of Agnes Cully's blood. Jarvis located the blood sample and got it to Agent Carter. The group chose to retreat back to Stark's mansion. Sometime later, Thompson showed up at the Stark mansion. Thompson ordered Peggy to return to New York, or she would lose everything. Carter and Sousa attended a press conference held by Whitney Frost where the death of Calvin Chadwick was announced. It was blamed on a yacht sinking. Though the two knew Agnes Cully was behind everything, they couldn't prove it. Carter and Sousa were also unable to tell if Dottie Underwood was still alive. Back at Stark Mansion, Wilkes was beginning to fade out again just as he was finishing the touches on his containment unit. Also, Jarvis managed to fix the tracking system on Dottie's necklace. Eventually, Wilkes managed to step into the containment chamber. It worked, and everyone celebrated.
Awkward.
It was then that Dottie Underwood's tracking necklace was located. Peggy tried calling Agent Sousa, but he was occupied with Agent Masters. Peggy went on to try to save Dottie, even though she knew she was walking into a trap. Peggy and Jarvis tracked the signal down to a desert compound. There they were immediately captured after the repulsor gun Jarvis brought along somehow misfunctioned. Carter and Jarvis were taken to Dottie, who was not so grateful for the rescue. Peggy and Dottie were able to wriggle free from their ropes, Jarvis not so much, and Dottie began to warn Peggy that the corruption she was fighting ran deeper than she thought. It was then that Carter and Jarvis made the connection. Dottie was just a distraction to lure Carter away from the Stark mansion.
Crap, Jarvis's wife is a goner.
The trio rushed back to the Stark mansion. They arrived just as Jarvis's wife, Anna, was shot by Agnes Cully, who then left carrying the body of Dr. Wilkes.
Damn it, I knew it!
Mrs. Jarvis was rushed to the hospital, and while she was being wheeled into the OR, Dottie Underwood escaped.
Obviously, with these two episodes, the story is actually starting to get a lot darker, and I think that's for the better. Agnes Cully, or Whitney Frost, or Madame Mask, or whatever you want to call her, she's really starting to assert herself as the main villain, the main threat, the real monster of this season. And you know what? Calvin Chadwick, you kind of knew he was probably going to die at some point. I don't think he's that big a loss. Unfortunately, on the negative side, a character who probably should have been killed off was the Roxanne head, Hugh Jones. I like Ray Wise as an actor, but wow, he's really not very interesting in this. I really don't like him at all. That, and to be honest, unfortunately, it seems like shooting Jarvis's wife, that just was a little gratuitous. I mean, this character was in the first couple episodes, and then she kind of disappeared for a while. Now she seems to be back. She seems to actually be getting a real character, and now it looks like they might kill her off. I don't know if she'll make it or not, but yeah, it's kind of aggravating and seems sort of wrong. With that in mind, this episode overall was very good. I'm going to give it a B. And with that, I'll see you next time on the Whimsical Adventures of Great Aunt Peggy.